What's up, YouTube? Working late at the shop again. We got really busy, and free time is not a regular occurrence anymore. So we have all sorts of things going on here. A UTV, Razor or something, I don't know what brand it is, but rails, bumpers, things like that. Blasted some of those at the other shop because that had 3 coats. It was a 3-coat custom powder job on there. Looked like 3 coats of powder when I was blasting that off, so I got 95% of that done. We'll do the final touch-up blast here, but I got all of the hard work done. Finished up these antique copper or anodized copper benches. Obviously, there's one bench end, back and bottom, or vice versa. Maybe that's the bottom, that's the back. I got 3 more of those in here in the oven I just turned off. A little smoky. But got those done. All of that gym equipment we have been working on is taking up this rack, this wall, and this lift area. So he's supposed to be coming to pick that up tomorrow, which would be fantastic because we're out of space up here. Gloss black and gloss white comboed machine there. We got more pieces in here. Some subframes, some bumpers came in. We're just kind of rocking and rolling, you know. I never know what's coming in tomorrow or the day after. Sometimes I do, but rarely. We had a ton of wheels last week, but oh, that goes with skid plate, goes with that, or roof. Maybe that's the roof. I don't remember. That goes with those. And then we got this Evo Sporty frame, or at least it looks to be. This is going to be kind of a fun one. We're doing a candy teal with a sapphire. It's like a teal and fuchsia flake on top. So this is getting a 3-coat job. Masked everything off, everything's blasted, ready to go, but I'm waiting on powder for this one. I have enough to make a couple samples, but we don't have enough because it's pretty much the whole bike. We're doing frame, gas tank, oil tank, a separate job there. Fender, which, these fenders, this is one of the first fully rolled ones that we've had. We've done a handful of them, but the ridges and the marks from the rolling process on this type of fender, I don't know if this is a lowbrow one or not, really, really rough casting. So I have a ton of manual sanding. I hit everything with a small little orbital 80 grit, but you can still see some of these ridges coming through here. I'll fire up the DA and get that jigged up on something, and we're gonna get that sanded out real smooth. More body work that I love doing, but should be cool when it's all done. I'm really excited for this one. It's nice doing the more custom chopper frames. We do a million motorcycle frames, but they're always gloss black, so it's nice doing something fun. Then over here, we got some Brembo Subaru calipers. 2 of these are gonna get finished masks tomorrow. The lights are off. We got some intake manifolds in here and then some more caliper stuff. Lots of coating stuff, lots of import stuff, some Harley stuff, some UTV stuff. And we have a gigantic skim coat of Bondo on the truck right now. And we're probably gonna need more. I've been kind of piecemealing this and trying to lay it on heavier, and go from there. But I'm learning bodywork stuff as I go. And the first handful of attempts on this, it's been like minor skim coats. I think I'm better off just loading it up and sanding it down, because then otherwise I'm gonna do this, sand it down, re-scuff it, try and get it done, build it up again, fill out any high-low spots. I'd rather start high and leave everything blocked across the panel. So the more I keep messing with this, the wider the Bondo pattern or spread gets, but I think it's gonna work out better. So, not a body guy. Thanks for sticking around if you have and been watching any of these videos. It's not my forte. There's a million other things I'd rather be working on, but when I'm up here and I haven't had any time, that's irrelevant. I'm learning. It's not gonna be perfect. I guarantee you at the end of the day, it's not gonna be perfect. As much as I want it to be, I'm new to this. This is how I learn. Mess it up on your own stuff. Go from there. And then in a little while, I'll probably, when we're done with this, I'll continue on saying the same thing I always say is I don't like bodywork. I keep trying to get better at it, but still not tickling my fancy, if you know what I mean. So that's it for now. I might throw you guys up on the tripod real quick. We'll do a little time lapse after this and then kind of see what happens from there. I'm not trying to take anything off of this, but I want to at least try and knock down some of these high spots. While it's semi-wet, it's hard enough. I might have waited too long filming the intro for this. Definitely a low there. Yeah. We waited too long on this Bondo, unfortunately. Not good. See if we can at least get the real high ridges off of here. The cheese grater, as far as I can tell, works really well, but you have a very small, narrow margin. And if I'm not doing this right, I apologize. But I've had this sitting here on the thing for a while. I also did thin this out quite a bit. Like our thick spots of Bondo or filler are really right in this area. And I did do a hard feather out to the edges because I'm hoping to try and get close to done with this. I also just banged a couple high spots of metal with a hammer without really knowing what I was doing. I don't know if that was the smartest thing to do or not, but this is not gonna work. So we're gonna let this dry for another, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. And then I know you're not supposed to do a body line, but I think this is close enough where I can stay away from the actual body line itself. Just knock down some of these real highs. Not putting a ton of pressure here, just kind of letting the tool do the work. Are there any body guys that follow this channel that are rolling over or yelling at your TV? Because I literally will be the first to admit I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just trying a bunch of different tools and trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work, what I like. I have used these with some success in the past, but I think I took too long filming the intro. You can see it. I don't know if we're not dry enough or too dry, but this should be coming out like spaghetti or Play-Doh. And I don't think we're anywhere near that. That's okay. This is way too gummy to try and sand right now. Cheese grater, not my favorite so far. I know it's an important tool. I understand how it works, I just haven't dialed that in yet. So we'll let this dry and then we'll come back, and I think I'm just gonna grab a DA with a 36 grit and quick rough this. Maybe, what do I got, 60 grit? 60 might be the stiffest or coarsest I have. So we're just gonna quick scuff this with a 60 and then we'll block it out with an 80, maybe. I'm wearing a mask today because I'm sick of playing with Bondo. Let's make a mess. I don't know if this is dry enough yet, probably isn't, but I got a million 60 grit discs on a little orbital DA. I have a bigger DA that we'll use for the 80 grit, but for right now, I just kind of want to hog out the high spots of this, at least get the real high rough stuff cut in. So, let's see how this goes. 80 grit on an actual DA.
They call me the juggler, 'cause I always have three lovers, and I burn through Trojan rubbers like no other. But when I'm not between the sheets, I'm busy staying undercover. Ain't as sweet as it seems being the juggler. Yeah, 'cause Edith likes eating at East of Eden, where Wendy works on Wednesday evenings, and Donna Lee does her laundry 2 doors down. So when I'm out to eat with Edith, I'm always worried Wendy's watching, and equally that Donna Lee's gonna be around. And what's worse is Wendy lives by the Wally World, where Donna Lee goes to the pharmacy, and Edith's ex-old man's employed there. So I choose to keep a low profile and sneak around like it's going out of style, and try to keep these balls up in the air. Yeah, they call me the juggler, 'cause I always have 3 lovers. Sometimes I wish I had me a twin brother, because it takes a lot of steam making all that hubba hubba. Ain't as sweet as it seems being the juggler. Yeah, but I had 3 more the month before, Tanya, Tina, and Isadora, but that all ended in a puddle of tears and blood. I had Tanya down for 10 to noon, and Tina turned up around 1 or 2, and Izzy'd used me all night like a stud. But one day Tanya showed up a little late, and Tina turned up a lot early, so fists were flying till Izzy came that night. I'm pretty sure it's the doors when they threw me on the floor, while Tanya and Tina punched and kicked and swore, and long story short, I lost the fight. Yeah, they call me the juggler, 'cause I always have 3 lovers. They come and go, but there's always another. Yeah, I guess I can't be pleased by just one lady's comfort. Ain't as sweet as it seems being the juggler. Yeah, yeah, maybe someday I'll quit this fooling round and find someone to make me settle down, but I'd hate to be the one to make her suffer. 'Cause one of them days we'd go to town, and one of my friends would flag us down and say, "You know why everybody calls him the juggler?" And I'd have to explain that they call me the juggler, and I always have 3 lovers, and I burn through Trojan rubbers like no other. But when I'm not between the sheets, I'm busy staying undercover. Ain't as sweet as it seems being the juggler.
I know this feels or might seem like a Bondo queen now, but there's really not all that much on there. In the course of mixing this over the handful of times that I've done it, I think I used 3 of these sheets, about yay big. So if you drew a circle here, that's about how much we used. Granted, it's a couple times, but as I progress, I'm learning, okay, well now I know that that's the metal about to start poking through. We're done. Little low spot right here where it's real dark, but these little metal bits are what I need to level out. So last handful of times, I grabbed a block and I just started sanding on this. Obviously, I'm still gonna have high spots here because this door was in really good shape. These feel straight. I'm just trying to level out this where I welded, this down here where I welded. Trying to fix those. Could it use a little more down in here? Maybe. One more skim coat on the whole lower, and then basically go till we just get to the crown of these high points. I know you're supposed to tap them in with a hammer, but as I'm learning, every time I hit the door with the hammer, which I've done a couple times now, it ends up being way more work than I actually want to do. And I don't know, for better or for worse, I think this is gonna be a silver metallic panel. From what I'm hearing, I thought that was gonna be easier, but apparently it's gonna be way worse. So we'll keep jamming away at it until I'm happy enough on this door. We did the spot welds on the back cab corner. Still gotta do that on the other side, but we'll see. I might actually leave this tonight just like that because I don't want to spend a ton of time up here. I'll level out this lower bit a tiny bit more right here. Just feather that. Feather that, feather that. Focus on this little lower wall because this is bare metal, but it's clean. It's really clean. I've already admitted that I know nothing. I don't need to show the whole world or the, 300 people that watch these videos how terrible I am at bodywork. I've got this. I can't feel the ridges on my hands. And this is only 80 grit scuffed. So realistically, if I throw a couple coats of high build primer, I think we're close enough where that should start filling. Yeah, a little bit right there. But I didn't do a final block on this yet. I'm gonna do one more block sand and try and level off a couple of these spots. I know this is a little bit lower, but it's also filled now. So you can kind of see where we're at, making progress. We pulled the dent out as much as we could. That's what we're trying to fill. These lower parts of the door, like this lower panel, if I hit this with a DA or a block, it'll go straight down to bare metal real quick. I don't think it's high, it's just that I'm trying to level out the lows to match these highs, as opposed to trying to like skim coat the whole thing, pound all of these in. I don't know. I've watched enough videos on YouTube to kind of understand it a little bit, but really it's just enough to be dangerous. So I'm not worrying about that body line ridge up top at all yet. That will knock down later, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I left enough filler there where I don't have to keep throwing more in the seam. This is going to be the last thing I'm going to address this time, and I'm using what is it, USC AG 47? That's what I had left over from the van. It sands pretty well once it dries up. Obviously, when you try sanding Bondo or filler, when it's wet, it's gonna clog up the paper like crazy. If you let this dry, I've come back to this the next day, almost 2 days after, and it still seems to be very sandable. I know some of them are a little bit tighter on the threshold. You want to do it relatively quick as soon as it's hard, but not fully hardened. And then, I don't know, this stuff's been very forgiving. So unfortunately, that's going to be sitting like that without another coat of primer, but that's one less thing to sand tomorrow. And then I think, if time allows, we're going to try and just get that door done tomorrow, or at least close enough for just some glaze on the final pinholes and things like that. So that's where we're going to leave this one. It ended up being a whole bodywork video. Maybe there's going to be more. We'll find out. If not, we'll catch you on the next one. Well, I was going to wrap it up the other video, but next day, beautiful little sunset going on right here, and got some of the small job coating. We got a ton of big oven stuff tomorrow for the UTV and all that other stuff, but I roughed this in with the DA. Ran the DA for a while, smooth, terrible back. Smooth everything out on the DA, and then I took the 80 grit off camera, blocked it again with a fresh 80 on a Durablock, and today I went through and primed it. So if we get real close, you're still gonna see some of the sand scratches. This is rattle can primer too, and it's at least enough to give me a better idea. It's really hard when you got 19 different colors. I know there's guide coats and all the other stuff, but this as it sits. A little bit of the small sand scratches, I'm not worried about. Those will come. We're gonna do a 320 block, 180, minimum 180, maybe a 320 block with re-block and re-hand sand the entire door before we do our actual real primer. I know it's not ideal, but as long as there's enough bite there, I feel like it's okay. When we tried that U-pull stuff last time, I complained about it. I think one of the videos a little ways back. I can't remember. We've been playing on this stupid truck for way longer than I would like, but this one, U-pull Expert Sandable Primer, ultra high build, fills imperfections 2 times the coverage. 1 can of this got me 2 coats roughly on the door and half of the fender. A little bit of overspray on the rear cab, but that's getting cut out. So we'll deal with that down the line, but that one sprayed substantially better. Parked it here in the sun so we can get a little bit, you get a little bit of the tiger striping because I tried using up the rest of the can. This has been on here for approximately 6 minutes, I think. So you get a couple of the sand scratches on the cross pattern. I can see it where they cut a little bit deeper. I think that'll be okay. That'll sand and feather out when we do the real primer. Real primer, we're gonna be doing 3 heavy coats. Looks like I got a tiny little dimple right there. This is overly scrutinizing, but we got a body line now. You can see that. I don't know how crisp and perfect it is going down the line. We'll find out once we get real paint on it. But I want to make it look decent, you know. Some deeper scratches down here we'll have to address, but this is the initial, at least it's done and it's sealed. Ooh, 1 run, that was the end of the can. When I tried pressing it, it burst on me. But this new primer sprayed way better. Still more money than I want to spend on rattle can primer that I know is going to get some adjustment, but I can see this right here. We'll have to feather that just a tiny bit more. There's a low spot, so I also got some glazing putty, and we're going to just chase the rest of those lows, blend them in, and then the door should be done and ready to move on. You get a little more tiger striping here. Bodywork things are so hard to make show up on a GoPro. Now it's pretty much 180, 320. I'm pretty sure if this was 180, that would have gotten filled. I know the U-Pole primer, I'm using a U-Pole 4:1 2K primer. That says it'll fill 80 grit scratches. We'll probably go to like 180. I think that's kind of a comfortable in between where it's still enough to cut in, but not enough to overly do it. So it's bodywork things. Every time you think you're done, you're not. You'll find something else or it needs one little bit, and I haven't had time to sit down and spend multiple hours messing with this, but the lower body lines are pretty straight all the way down. And I mean, I'm standing 4 feet away right now. That's a 4-foot view. It's still a work truck, but I want it to be nice. And the better I get at this now on something like this, where I know it's not like a show car. I'm not doing a show car restoration. I don't need everything absolutely perfect. But this is a much better platform than the Falcon is. If I can get decent using filler stuff, then I get to play around on something that I think could be worth a decent amount of change. Not much, it's still an oddball, weirdo car. I mean, this is, I guarantee you this is worth more than what I paid for it. I don't think I ever told you guys that, but maybe I did. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. This is what I'm working on now. I apologize if you absolutely hate the car stuff. There's still a million bike things to do. We're back at the barn today. This is all I got time for. And we're going down to New Orleans for a wedding in 2 weeks. And we're road tripping. So hopefully that's all right. And then while it's fresh in my head, all you guys in Carolinas and Georgia, everybody dealing with the flooding stuff. Hippie, I hope you're doing all right too. In Nashville too. But we're gonna be we're supposed to be doing a Southern Loop trip down to New Orleans for my good buddy from high school's wedding. I don't know what the status of that is. I have not watched enough in the news. I've been too busy wrenching on filling and coating stuff to stay on top of it, but I wish the best to everybody. If there's support things and donation things, make a donation. It doesn't take much. Help out those guys down there. They're getting absolutely killed. So that'll wrap this one up. I don't want to get too much into that either, but check in with the people you got or know down there. I got a couple buddies in those areas, and it's sounding worse than what I hear is on the news. So good luck. Prayers be with you, and we'll catch you guys on the next one, I guess. Sorry to end on a bad note. Shovelhead's coming soon, I promise. Catch you on the next one.